Welcome back, everybody. Going to be doing some DayZ experimental tonight on 1.27 that dropped today on Chernarus build on my own Goblin server. And generally just having a chat as we play. Go from here, just loading in now. So I've got no mods loaded, it is just 1.27 Chernarus. So we'll have a run around, die, rinse and repeat, have a look at some of the new stuff. I hope we don't have to wipe as well, John. Obviously. I've got a lot of work to do this weekend and next weekend to make sure we're ready in case we do have to. But I hope that we don't. Hi, Bimmy. Bit of 1.27 tonight, once I can get it to run. I'm running locally on a LAN on my own test server for 1.27. So we're not going to bump into players. It's just us against the environment. I hope everyone's okay out there. So it's non-modded, it is pure vanilla this, and it is just only I can connect because it's running locally. I just run a virtual server for testing new builds. But it does allow us to run around and test the 1.27 mechanics. I can't, no God mode, pure DayZ. And it proves you can run DayZ in single player mode. Hi Ryan. Yeah, we're having a look at 1.27 basically, that's all we're doing tonight. Because hey, everyone else is, might as well jump on the bandwagon. No, it's useful for me knowing what's coming, because it helps me plan for the next GoblinZ build. If you guys ever want to know how to make DayZ work in single player mode, let me know. I'll do a video on it, it's not difficult. We'll need that next wipe. Not for cars though. If I can get what I'm currently working on working properly, then we'll need it. And you'll like what I'm working on. I started this morning building our own mod pack and started with recipes. So I'm starting to build planning base for next wipe. Excellent. So I'm starting to build a recipe mod pack for GoblinZ. So future wipes we'll use our own recipe pack with some more recipes in it. I need to get that working. Give me a second. I just need to get something working in so I can zoom. It's working on the wrong key for me. Should be on that key. Give me a second. We'll just get that set because it's experimental, so it's different. So it's like starting again. Configure. I want focus. Focus. Where are you? Camera, maybe. Eye focus. That one there, and it needs to be that one. Apply. Back. Back. Continue. That's better. I'll have that than that. So down to there. Shotgun over there. That will have worked. Alright then. So yeah, so I started working on recipes today. I've got the code and I've got the instructions of how to make our own recipe mod. And then things like craft nails and all the crafting mods we currently have, we will put into our own mod. And then I'll add to it other recipes. So I'm thinking that we'll be able to make our own tools for base building. So like, I'm not saying this is what it will be, but like a short stick plus a stone might turn into a hatchet. So rather than spawn a hatchet into the world, instead you'd have to make your own, is what I'm thinking. Ugh. They're better than what I've got. Next build, John, there won't be a trader. Trader's gone. This will be the last build you ever have a trader for. Going forward, you'll be finding everything yourself. Yeah, so next build, no more traders, which is good. You might not feel it at the moment, but it is good. It will change things. There'll be more nails and things spawning in the world to make things a little bit easier for you guys. But yeah. Certainly no traders. Get down to the coast and move on. Yeah, I was a bit not disappointed. I was disappointed in myself that we've had the trader in and everyone's been, not everyone, people have been basing themselves near the trader. So I thought about having Ultra as a trader, but again, people would just base themselves in the middle of the map. We run a survival server, and then we have a trader. Get rid of the trader. Increase the amount of code locks and nails that spawn in the world. Solves that problem. And you've still got the crates to use as well. And that way, we get the best of both worlds. Well, we get the harder world. Also, we're going next wipe to unlimited code locks, guys. So no more code lock tracking. But what I'll do instead is reduce the amount of space you can build a base in. So I can then take part in raiding as well, because I don't need to know I don't need to track people's bases anymore. Because if you've got one code lock or 200, it makes no difference to the rules anymore. But there'll be splash damage turned on, so if you stack doors, one explosive will take them all out. So it will solve the problem. And because explosives are endgame, to get to them you have to go through the loot crate route. On the next wipe, it'll be fine. We need to find a backpack so we can see this new 1.27 thing. Backpacks that now can have things clipped to them. Also giving you a new weapon pack next wipe. Have you decided if stealing flags are a thing? I'm not 100% there yet. Certainly we're going to have soft side raiding in. So, like we've got now, that if you find someone's wall that's not protected, you can get to the soft side. You can cut the wall down. So that's important. I think because we run a survival server, I can see why we would build a. You can cut down someone's flag if you find it, because it would force players to be more covert. I'm going to allow you to build anywhere. I was going to block off and not allow people to build in houses, but I am going to allow people to build in houses. But I'm turning gas back on next wipe, so gas can hit any town. And because of that, players might choose not to live in a town. It's up to them. Again, so if a player builds a base in a town and then logs in and finds he can't get to it, it's always under gas attack, that won't be anything to do with me. Yeah, that's for guys to work out themselves. I think they've nerfed stamina a little bit. Quite nice. They always do this. They announce what they're doing as part of an update, and then there's lots of little things we don't know about. How I normally set splash damage is if you think you've got the standard box, half of that box the explosives work for. Is how I normally work it. Oh, of course, we've got the music turned on tonight, which I normally wouldn't have. Because I play too many competitive servers. Hell, we're playing vanilla, can't you? We're also going to do a competition next wipe, guys, where you can all win a prize. Well, not all of you. One person will win a prize voted for by the community. I'm going to run from beginning to wipe, from basically a base building competition. So whoever's got, so on the last day of the next wipe, forget this wipe, it's nothing to do with this wipe, but the next wipe, I will fly around. Once I turn the server off before I wipe it, so 12 weeks after it's gone up, roughly, I will fly around the map and do a video of everyone's base. And then I will put the videos up and let you as a community vote on your favourite base without knowing whose base is whose. And whoever wins the community vote for the favourite base will win a £10 Steam gift card. Hi B. So that's what we're going to do next wipe. So I think it's a nice way of saying thank you for playing the server. Of course, with raiding on, you'll want to keep your base alive. But the idea will be that you build a base. If you get raided, you try and rebuild it and because you want to win, you'll want to raid other people's bases to make sure that they don't win, is how I'm thinking. Not this wipe, though. Not this wipe. It'll be next wipe. Yeah? So certainly not this wipe. Because I haven't given you the option right the way through. But we'll certainly be doing it next wipe because it's the right thing to do. And from then on, we'll do something similar. So every wipe, people get a chance to potentially win a prize. So yeah. But it's for then the team to vote. For the players themselves to vote. Not for me. It's not my choice. So it's in people's interest next wipe to gather explosives, hit other people's bases, That is new. They're starting to put clutter inside houses. This is good. At last. That's very new. That's always been done in other... So that's been done before with other things, but not in... like Chernarus. And certainly it's... Hi, Cookie. Yes, I do. It's experimental I'm playing, mate. We're just having a run on experimental. They played with the inertia stuff because that's a bit more harder to hit zombies. Now you heard music. I was like, oh, I've got that turned on. Now you're not going crazy. Wow, crazier than normal. Look, Cookie, what they've done. Look at this. They've started to put things inside houses or barns. They're thinking. So guys, I know there's a well up here, which is why we've come to this town. Because then we can fill up our water. Yes, very quickly. A well's up there, just past the church on the corner. But obviously there's a fair few locals that don't want me here. And I'm just running this on a local build. So it's my own server, so all I've done is set up a server and made it a LAN. A bit weird. It's not getting the strikes we used to get. Okay, no problem, Cookie. Thanks for popping in, mate. Massively appreciated. You used to be able to hit through this easily, but it feels a little bit like they're stopping it. Maybe they have worked on the zombie pathfinding. They're certainly hitting harder. But we won't be eating that today. Forget how hard vanilla is. Obviously, with Cookie, I play so many well, we play Aftermath, don't we? Realistically, and that's where my life is normally spent. Over there, the well is. So as I said, we've been building I got Z earlier that had human meat. So one of the surprise... I'll tell you about this surprise for next wipe, guys, just so you're aware. Wells won't always work. On each restart, it will choose 20% of the wells to turn off. On GoblinZ, yes. Come on then. Come on then. Come and talk to Uncle Goblin. Come on, over you come. Come talk to Uncle Goblin. Exactly. So, but each restart, it will just choose 20% is what I'm going to set it at as a mod. It will just be thankful. I'm not going to put cholera on them because that's possible as well to choose what percentage give you cholera, which I'm not going to do because I don't think that's fair. So if it works, the well will be safe. It just means if you get to a well and it's not working, you either die, find a different well, or wait till restart. It'll make it a bit more real, a little bit more survivally. Come on then, come and find me, half find to me. You know where I am, I'm stood behind you, you daft bin. Come on, not over there, over here. There you go. No. Back this way, come on then. Come on. I don't have the bandage to fight you on the ground, so come and fight me here. Is that a new car bonnet? Opening it a different way? Or did that always do that? See, I don't have vehicles on my servers. Why would we have dog meat? Oh, having dog. No, we're not having the dog. Not going to happen. You don't need a companion. It just causes... Yeah, no. Chance of Wells to give you vodka. I like that. I'm going to have to fight you, aren't I, you creature. Okay. Spin that off now. Oh, and there your friends are. Yeah. But also it would cause... We know how GTX handles AI, and anything extra like that is just another AI routine. And if there was 5 of you on, all with dogs, that would be the equivalent of having 10 of you on the server. And then you add in 4 AI potentially, and suddenly I don't have enough RAM and it falls over. It feels it. It feels... The Zeds don't feel harder. They just feel a little bit harder. Just a little tweak of hardness, if that makes sense. Just a little bit to annoy you. They're obviously doing something with the zombies. They're working on them, for sure. No, that's no problem, John. I get why you want it, if that makes sense. But for me, it's too roleplay or PvE. I think in a full-on survival situation, the dogs probably would have been eaten 5 years ago. Unfortunately. Especially in a situation like this where food is so, on my world, rare. Next wipe, guys, you're getting better guns. A lot better guns, or access to them at end tiers. And better scopes. And better armour. And better helmets. When you get there. Oh yeah, CR527 on my server is pretty high up the tier scale. But I play around with the spawning as well, so I take it, I just leave it in hunting. I don't let it spawn down here. Hey, I grew up with spaniels. I love dogs, but I just don't... I can't see enough players meeting up with other players and agreeing to stay together to breed dogs, if that makes sense. People are starving. You eat anything. You might have a dog, but where would you get puppies from without meeting another player? And you'd probably end up double-crossing each other anyway. And if we rented a server that had the power to run other stuff, I'd be more tempted to have other stuff on that would be good for the server. Still using single shot. I love my FAL with silencer. The FAL is just a beautiful weapon. But next wipe, you might decide you'd like a Scar H. You never know. Or Scar L. Floating stone. Bad placement, BI. Bad placement. So, first problem. They've lowered the map. Because that's spawning on a grid reference that should be on the floor. So they have lowered the terrain. My guess is by, what do you reckon, half a foot? So that means it might cause problems for everyone's base and things. You're still going to have vanilla weapons, but I will have a good selection of better weapons spawning in tier 4 and endgame crates, or towards the end of endgame crates. New scopes, new weapons, and then the endgame weapon won't be a 338, it'll be a 50 cal semi-automatic. Just because, hey, who doesn't want a 50 cal? Wouldn't have dogs, would feel terrible if DayZ took it out, or even worse, a player would hunt them down for the whole wipe. Yeah. I like DayZ Dog. It's a nice mod. Don't get me wrong. I have run it before. I don't dislike it. I can... Let me think about it. That's not a no. It's not a yes. It's a let me think. Because I could force you to have kennels and collect the bone and the whistle before you're allowed the dog. And I could put those items in high tier areas. Let me think about it. So less pew pew and more guns. You'll still get vanilla pew pew, but there'll be a little bit less pew pew and a bit more grrr. This building, guys, using obviously the server, using what we use, makes a bloody excellent base. You block off that. Airlock all of this. Block off the steps so people can't climb up. And then bring them up here. You've got this to live in. And this. This and this. Block off that. We don't have helis on our server, so you've got a top room, and then you've got a good commanding position to tap people from. It makes a really, really good base location. So you can, it can be done. You can have, so DayZ Dog allows you to call your dog to you, give it commands, give it clothing, have it run around as a companion, have it hunt for you. And this is the problem I have with it, I think, as well, is at the moment, if you see a deer, you have to hunt it down and shoot it. If you've got DayZ Dog, you tell the dog to go and kill the deer, and it will kill it every time for you. So, if we have dogs, I've got to make it hard to get the dog. Yeah? Because otherwise, players will find hunting really easy without having to do any hunting. So, it's a survival server. If I'm going to give you the dog, then I have to make it difficult. If that makes sense. We can't have it as OP. So there's lots of positives to it, but there's negatives as well. When I used to play Freedom 35, this was once a French base that we raided in here. So if you ever hear me talk about the French base when I'm running around in the server, this is where I mean. Look at that. Yes. Yeah. And that's the trouble, if that makes sense. But that's not to say that we couldn't put it into end crate. We could have the whistle that allows you to call your dog in end game. So the only way you'd get there is by getting to the last crate. So it could be done. I just need to look into it and think about how I would balance it. Because you know me, if I put in a positive, a nice thing, we have to counteract it a little bit so it doesn't become OP. I don't want players getting a dog in their first 20 minutes of being on the server and never having to worry about food again. But equally, if I put in something like the dog's quite hard to get and no players get it, it's a waste of a mod slot. But I understand. Yeah, let me think about it. Also, I realise that if you have a dog, I can force you to have a kennel. So you have to make the kennel. So you have to collect goods to keep the dog alive at your base. Which means you need to lock your dog away because someone can steal your dog. So if you have your kennel outside and someone can get to it, they can steal your dog off you. And I quite like that. That means the dog's got worth then. So that's a positive. But this weekend I'll be attempting, as I said, to build a recipe mod. So then the two recipe mods we've got at the moment would become one that would be a GoblinZ mod, available on the Steam Workshop page, with about 20 different recipes in. Depends if I'm allowed to do that. Depends what the mod allows me to do. Because I'm not... My modding skills are very limited. I can alter JSON files in the game code. I've spent the last week learning how to write a recipe mod. And that's taken me a week to get my head around, and I haven't started writing it yet. To go in and write overrides on other people's mods... Number one, they have to allow it. If they don't allow it, you're breaking the rules. Number two, you need to understand the code they've written it in. And I'm not good at coding. Gonna have to cut that up. No, this is vanilla grass on this server. I haven't added anything to this. All I've done is put this in and run it. We will be having long grass, though, if it works to 1.27. Next wipe, I like the idea of grass being sort of that height of that. You know, this is now vanilla, obviously. They're doing stuff. They are more than they... As I said, you know, we know what they're like. Here's the latest version of DayZ. This is the new stuff you're getting. And then suddenly you come onto experimental and you see so much more that you get. Other things they've changed and played with. Take that. A good batchy tool. Don't like this town, but we do need that med centre, don't we? We're having a run on 1.27 tonight, the next version of DayZ. Better, and I've been better. I'm at UK hospital. Been here since yesterday. I'm okay. That's not good, mate. I think the locals are happy to see me. Oh, that's not good. Not good at all, mate. We will do, Woody. They've changed the pathfinder on these Zeds, haven't they? Not massively, just subtle changes. That one running around on the floor, like crouched. horrible zombie. Oh, thank you, Willie. We're a good community here. We are. Actually, and how true is that? Even if you're not religious, that's pretty much true, because we all come from the same source. So yeah, that's actually a really good way of putting it, John. A really good way of putting it. Obviously, as people probably know, I'm not overly religious, but I certainly understand the origins of, depending on how you look at it. Obviously, I'm trying to be careful here. We're on stream. That's a really good way of putting it. Wow, Willie. Yeah, amazing. Guys, is this more rubbish they've put on? Rubbish piles. I don't know if this town had them before. It's not like I come here very often. Have they been starting to put some junk around the place? Starting to jazz the place up a little bit, make it look a bit more like it should. I try not to talk politics or religion on stream for obvious reasons, because whatever your feelings are, you'll annoy at least 50% of the people that are watching the stream who don't believe the same. So it's very difficult. So I try and steer away from it. But if anybody ever wants to talk about that sort of thing, more than happy to talk about it off stream, if that makes sense. Oh, we need to get away from these lot. Oh, and that lot. Right, let's go for it. Oh, and that lot. Oh, here we can go. We need a car. Or a window. Okay, let's get the zombies to get bored of me. Got an incoming Discord message a second, guys. We're just going to sit here until the zombies get bored and walk off. Normal routine. And then we'll move on again. I'm trying to make our way down to where we can get a rucksack to see whether it's got the new slots or not. Obviously, towns aren't the best place because you get a lot of zombies for minimal usefulness. I do have a sort of, apart from your suggestion with DayZ Dog, which I will seriously look at and see if we can balance it in such a way that it works. But apart from that, I do have the mod list worked out. Thanks for offering that, John. That's appreciated, mate. So I do have the mod list worked out for next wipe. We're down to, as long as I can get the recipe mod working, we'll be down to about 28 mods for next wipe. And if we can't get the recipes working, we'll be on about 32. Because I'll need to put them all in manually. As in, mods in. And there's mods in with stuff in that I don't want. And that's half the problem. I'd also like to be able to add to it a GoblinZ loading screen. And then swallow some of our smaller mods within the mod pack. And build our own mod pack for the server. Some of the mods that never get updated, that are firm and work really well, have them permanently in running. So we know that they're not going to get updates. We know it's not going to be a problem. We know they'll just sit there and work all the time. Yeah, it modelled me for a while, John. Oh, hello, you've heard me again. How many slots? 15, 12. Let's get rid of that. Pop that on. So OP. Dinner sorted. But I'm hoping to allow you guys to craft barrels next wipe without having to use finding them. You have to get metal, but metal plate plus wire will give you a barrel if I can make it work, and barrel plus pliers will give you metal sheets. That's one of the things I really want in. Also, I want to give you the ability of making your own sea chests. So it'll be however many nails I decide, plus 20 planks or 10 planks. We'll make a sea chest. And then I think we're going to add electronic repair kit to sea chest to make a fridge. I think is what I'm going to aim for. I've only got 11 barrels. But once I allow, if I can get the barrel mod working so you can make your own barrels, apart from the barrels I've got the barrel mod, we'll keep that. The other mod, the normal barrels will spawn less because you'll have to make your own. So you'll need to walk metal home. But from that, you'll be able to make barrels, is what I'm thinking. Because it will feel, again, a little bit more, not real, but a little bit more survival. You've got a barrel, you've got a sheet of metal, you've bent it into a box, you've stuck some wire around it to hold it together, and you're storing things inside it. Okay, Willie. Well, you make sure you look after yourself. It's weird having the DayZ music running because I never have it running. And for you guys, it's probably just as weird seeing the boat down there. Yeah, I think if I only played GoblinZ, I might do. But having this playing on Aftermath would get me killed. Yeah. So one of the things I want to do is have like short stick. Oh, there's a new breaking stick animation. No, I've got the boats turned off because they're too... I've got no use for them. And it's, unfortunately, from experience, you end up with an awful lot of players saying, I was riding my boat, driving my car, whatever, and it crashed and I've lost all my gear. And even if I put in the rules, no compensation offered for vehicles, they open tickets. And then I have to stop doing what I'm doing and work on their ticket. And even when I said to play... So, like 4 wipes ago, we had horses. Because players wanted them, we thought we'd try it. And I said, horses are experimental, nobody open any tickets with horses problems. Oh, a little bit of a lag there. So I thought that would be enough for players not to open horse shit stuff. So they came on chat here, or they messaged me in Discord and said, I've got a problem with the horse. And then I had to answer and solve it. So we're not having vehicles again. It just isn't going to happen. Because players don't take any notice of me saying no compensation for vehicles. So we get rid of them. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. Now, this is meant to be a new animation on this one as well. With a tighter window. To be able to grab your fish. And it's meant to be harder to fish now. Yeah. The trouble is, when someone opens a ticket, if you don't answer it and don't help them, then you're seen as even if it's just a case of going to it and saying, in line with our rules, no compensation will be offered. It's fine to say, but each time you do that, fucking pair of Wellington boots, fucking DayZ. Each time you do that, it's time that I'm taking up that I don't really want to be doing that. My idea is to make a server that tickets shouldn't need to be opened on. People don't read the rules, though. That's the trouble. People just do not read the rules. So no, I don't, and I'm just a grumpy IT guy. I could do with your skills at the moment. I'm like a stupid goblin. Okay, so just remember that my IT knowledge is self-taught, and I'm not trained in IT. I've picked things up myself doing it. Through a lot of trial and error, and some people helping me. 2 pairs of Wellington boots. Fucking DayZ. So sometimes I'm not as good as I'd like to be at stuff, like all of us. So at work, we had before Christmas come up that Amazon were going to be running an Amazon game day with prizes sponsored by Amazon for 120 entries. 120 people could take part. So, like a mad goblin, I saw the word Amazon, game day, prizes, and thought, I want some of that. It's a long run anywhere, but with the way vehicles are in this game, it's semi-safe run, whereas vehicles you can be cartwheeling down the road. Exactly. So, I volunteered like a mad goblin, thinking there's no way I will get into this competition, this thing, and then I was accepted. In the last 2 weeks, I've had 16 hours training on how to set up Amazon web servers to run IT algorithms to solve complex problems, and I haven't got a fucking clue what they're on about. I am completely lost. And everyone else that's doing this game day are all like data scientists from the another pair of Wellington boots. This is going to make fishing difficult, guys, on the next wipe. Fishing isn't going to be as good as you thought it would. Thank you for the follow, or thank you for the sub. Massively, massively appreciated. So yeah, so I'm off to do an Amazon Web Services day, and not really knowing what I'm doing on it next month. But hey, I'll bluff it. I hope. At last. Yeah, exactly. And if you want Wallies, in which case, this is a hell of an update. Ugh. Forget that that's on, that I'm sat in bloody experimental and third person's enabled. I haven't turned it off in the settings. And we all know how much I hate third person. Oh, Euro helmet mouth guard. One of the things that you never seem to find on my servers because I turn shit like that off. So I've got my sensible head on. No, I know I'm safe. Old habits die hard. I love this mechanic. This one. That's so much more. I know it's little things, isn't it? But it's so much nicer. Oh, it's the other house that we had the matches in, wasn't it? Okay, that's fine. I think it's now making these things burn longer though. I might be potentially next wipe. You might be able to make chlorine tablets if I've got to decide how to do it, but I might have a way of you being able to make them. Got to decide it yet, which meds I'm going to allow you to make and which meds I'm not going to allow you to make, if that makes sense. Because wells are going to be more dangerous, allowing you to make make water purification tablets makes sense. But I've got to decide how I do it. Because I've got to use in-game stuff. So we could have and I've got to have two items mixed together that in my head make sense. So charcoal tablets plus something else to make chlorine. Because the charcoal tablets can also be used to fill your respirator filters. So do you save them to fill your filters or do you use them to purify your water? I like that way of forcing players to make choices. Which is why I'm working on about 10, maybe 15, 20 at the most recipes. And no more for the server. But they've all got to make sense. we're going to do a sewing kit from a piece of rope and a wooden hook, because it's easier to get and makes sense to me. You split the rope down, you've got the hook, that means you can sew things up. We'll make the leather sewing kit that maybe you take a normal sewing kit and you add a screwdriver to it, because that would then punch holes through boots. So that gives you then your leather sewing kit. But then what will happen is leather sewing kits and normal sewing kits will no longer spawn in the world. You will have to make them. So that's the other thing that I'll be doing, is things that we can construct get taken out of the world. So you have to find the components and make them yourself. So they become very valuable to you. Like if I allow you to make hatchets, you'll no longer find hatchets in the world. But I'm going to allow you to make probably a hunting knife. Yeah, they are, because I put them in certain areas, John. So, like, if I allow you to make hatchets, so a hunting knife, I'm thinking a stone knife plus a small stick will make a hunting knife. Because I can sort of see that you ram the... I know it's not an exact science. And I can't have three things combined. It won't allow that. You can't, like, have half a hunting knife that then you add tape to make a full one. The game just won't allow that to happen. It's not a mechanic, unfortunately. But I'd like players to have the ability of making a hunting knife. So that's I've got to get the mod working. So once I've got the mod working, then I'll stick it on experimental and I'll show it off. So I can load mods on here, it's not difficult. And it also allows me to test the mods for the next wipe on 1.27. Which is useful. And it's not an exact science, because we know that as per normal, this is the initial build of 1.27. You can guarantee this won't be the final build. We're losing Cocaine Bear next wipe, guys. We're going back to the old bear mod, the one that ran towards you. But I believe the bears found a girlfriend and they travel in packs of 2 now. Yes, you should do, John. But when... So within the crates, you'll get to a certain point of the crate system where it will give you a full set of NBC clothing. Because then the next crate you go into is in an NBC zone. If that makes sense. So the route it's taking you through the crates is to it will give you a set eventually. And then send you off to find a crate that's in an NBC zone. And then you can then keep that set back at your base. And you've got a set if you need a set again in the future. Or you can do the crate system again once you've completed it. Or at any point, you can start again on it and build up more sets. Because obviously, if you're going to do endgame, you're only going to get probably 2 explosives. And if you think bases might have, next wipe, 10 doors, quite easily. No, I'm not... It's not actually... There is a mod for that. There is a mod to add Mummy, Daddy and Baby Bear. But I'm not adding that mod. What will happen is I'll just make bears spawn in pairs. I think Cocaine Bear has broken the bear mod. It doesn't work very well. It seems to stop them spawning all the time. So by getting rid of Cocaine Bear, we end up with normal bear, put on the old mod that always works. And we'll get the bears spawning where they should be spawning. But then, rather than have them spawn in the event as a single bear, I'll have them spawn in the event as 2 bears. That's a sensible thing to do. And then we get the equivalent of Cocaine Bear. Just 2 bears you're fighting rather than 1. But they're spawning there, but they should be spawning in other places as well, John, and they're not. And places that I've added to the code. So in the past, before I ran Cocaine Bear, I could choose other spots on the map and they would spawn. Now they're not. So to me, that's a broken mod. Yeah? So to fix that mod, we get rid of it. And then we go back to a method that worked. What I won't do is do it mid-wipe, because that's not fair. Because at the moment, players know that they can shoot near bears and bears won't run towards them. So it's not fair to change that mid-wipe. I'll change it when we wipe. And we'll go back to the other method that worked better, basically. We always have to be a little bit careful with adding these things. Yeah, and the old mod, bears saw further, they ran towards gunfire. It was better for what we're doing. If I can, and making 2 of them spawn rather than 1 is not difficult. All I do is, how an event works in DayZ is, the event is a bear event with a location, with how many meters away you need to be before the bears sense you. And then it spawns in what it calls the child, and the child is the bear. If I give it 2 children, and they're both bears, it will spawn in 2 of them. Yes, trader's gone for good. No more trader. No more buying your way to victory. No more selling stuff, buying stuff. It'll be more survival. But also means that people should choose to live where they want to live, not just close to trader. And that's what I quite like the idea of. And people, I think, will be more covert in where they choose to live. Because of the fear of gas attacks, the fear of... At the moment, you know that if your base gets blown up and you've buried lots of rubles somewhere close by, that you can dig up your buried stash and then rebuy code blocks and secure your base really quickly. But if we take that away, that ability, suddenly the problem you're going to have is, what do I do now? I've been raided, they found me. So I hope that people will choose to live differently. That's my aim, anyway. And if I'm giving you the ability to make barrels and make sea chests, storage shouldn't be a problem. Yes, you'll have to cut logs or get metal home, but there'll be a reason for it. We're going to have vanilla building as well as expansion, so you can build outer walls of vanilla if you wish to, which will allow you then to cam net them and to put wire on the top and bottom of them to stop players getting to your outer, apart from your gates that you're using. Yes, you can always choose a way of a nomad. You don't have to have a base. There won't be any tents, as you know, on my servers. It doesn't happen, but you can still make improvised shelters. Or just have a Bergen full of gear and move town to town. No, people don't have to live. We're also not going to allow as many bases as you want next wipe. We're going to say 2 flags maximum. What that means is you can have 2 bases, but it also means if you want to move base, you can put another flag up, build the new base, move all your gear across, and then delete the first flag. Oh, look, a police event. See what spawns on these new events, shall we? If they've done anything different to the mechanics in this. Come on, Mr. Policeman. Come and see the goblin. He's been a naughty, naughty goblin. Over you come. That didn't trigger him. Should trigger him from here, though, shouldn't it? A very naughty goblin. Come and see him. Come on. He needs dealing with. All the gun sounds supposedly have been changed as well. Dead man's click. Ah. 15 1. There we go. Still trying to learn Chernarus. You'll get there. I forget that, you know, a lot of us have been playing Chernarus for years. for me, what we 6 years now. I think it's my 6th year. Probably this week or next week is my 6th year in the game. And some people have been playing a lot longer than me. Let's be honest about this. Is that a new signpost? Well, not in Livonia. Livonia, you're perfect hell. I know it's an advert, but a nice advert. Dead tours. Well done, BR. You have a sense of humour. Cherno for me is a better balanced map than Livonia. I prefer what Livonia looks like, but the balance isn't particularly good. And there's so much more I can do with Cherno for a modded server. So it makes more sense to run a survival server on it. Obviously, I know where I am roughly on the map. Yeah, I brought crab meat across because it felt like the right thing to do. There is too much wipe on too much food available on GoblinZ at the moment. So next wipe, food will be reduced, guys. But animals will be upped. We're going to have less food. We need to have more animals. We're not going to go into this town. We're going to go around this one. Because where we're heading for is still a fair runaway. I'll be going past Electra. I'm going to show you a spot in a town where you might not have thought about building, but it might be useful to see the spot, especially on GoblinZ. Yeah, Livonia's good fun. I like Liv. The next community run we'll do will probably be on Cherno. Because we've done a Livonia one, probably, or maybe Sakau. I'm not. It's difficult the Sakau one because some of our players are new to the game, and by going to Sakau, they might not own the DLC. And I always feel bad about saying let's do a community run on something where people might have to pay money to take part. So I would rather do something where as long as they already own DayZ, which arguably most do. Not everyone on the Discord does, but I would rather we went to a certain map that they can all play. I'm not about making people spend more money. But certainly next wipe, the competition will be in for the best base on last day of wipe, and that's how it's going to be. So if you've got a base near you that you think is better than your base, blow it up. Is how my brain's thinking. It might encourage people to raid each other a bit more if there's a monetary prize. Yeah, so a lot of people won't be in a position to and won't have it. So why would you run a server that excludes people? Or run an event that excludes people? And the same with offering a server for people to play. Why would I offer a server that again excludes? Cherno has the most players that want to play it. Though next wipe, it might not always be as warm as you expect it to be within a 24-hour period. There's your hint for you. I chewed long and hard over about doing the half a wipe of hot, half a wipe of cold. And the problem I've got is 50% of the people that play GoblinZ are not on the Discord. And if suddenly halfway through we switch from summer to winter or winter to summer, they won't know what's happening, and they might stop playing the server. And that's not a risk I'm willing to take, because the numbers, as they're increasing, might get eventually to the point where we've got good numbers on the map, and that's what I want. So we will run wipes that are... No, we're not going to run full winter. So what I'm going to do probably is we will have summer daytimes and freezing nights. And then in September-ish, we'll switch to what we've got now, which is nearly winter. And then in November-ish, we'll switch to full winter each year. I can do, John, but it's everywhere. Please join Discord, join Discord, join Discord. In the rules, join Discord. So if someone takes no notice, do I throw them off the server and not allow them to play it? Yeah? People will take no notice of the Discord until they've got a problem. And then they'll join the Discord to try and get it solved. Yeah, seasonal. But I want cold at night, Willie. I want it to be really cold at night. I want players at night to be lighting fires to live. Because that way they might get shot. And I realise it might mean some players log out at night and then log back in as soon as the sun comes up. I get that. But the hardcore survivalists will hopefully stay in and think about, shit, I need to light a fire. Yeah, that's a problem, John, is you can tell people till they're blue in the face that they need to join the Discord, but they won't unless they need to. And I get a lot of... It's funny, I'll get people join the Discord and they'll be like, I've been playing your server for 2 months, I've got a problem. Oh, welcome to the Discord. Yeah. Yeah. And then you can... And then you've got them. That's fine. But also, I like, you know, at the moment I've got 6 people that play the server through the week that are not on the Discord. Now that might be because they don't have Discord. We had a player a couple of wipes ago whose parents would not allow him to have Discord. So, do you then exclude that person from playing your server? I'd say no. You allow them in. I know that, Willie. You quite like my take on survival, don't you? Let's see if we can find a new rucksack. Well, not here. The military, once we get past here, might. A lot of what I do on my server, though, could be done on a PlayStation server if somebody wanted to play with the code. It's not... Some of it is modded, but a lot of it is just code. Unfortunately, unless you've got people in the community that are willing to build a PlayStation server to do it, it won't happen. And no disrespect to console owners, but I'm never going to build a console server because it costs money. I've got no way of testing it. So when I deploy a mod, I can't test that it works or not without buying a console, which isn't going to happen. I've owned Xbox and I've owned PlayStation in the past. I never use them because I need a mouse and keyboard to play. So there's no point for me spending money on something that I'm never going to use, unfortunately. Got a question. As you have added tabs to server options, could you leave message about server for temperature? As in have a message, have something in the press pause break and one of them says what temperature it is day and night, you mean? Or yes, I could, but it's still okay. Let's look at a different way. You're a Brazilian player on my server that doesn't read or write in English. My bit coming up saying press pause break, have you ever understood what it meant? So yes, I could, but would they take any notice? Probably not. Hi there, welcome to the stream. That's my normal shooting. So I could put something in one of the tabs that said temperature will change during the day. What I'm not going to do is change the temperature mid-wipe. Too much of a risk, John. Far too much of a risk of losing players over it. I will change that from summer to winter mid-wipe. It's not going to happen. We'll run long wipes in one set thing. So then when people join, they know what they're getting. But we will have colder nights than we do days. By its very nature, people expect nights to be colder. So twisting it down a few notches is not a problem. We're going to have long grass as well, so people can hide in the grass. Zombies can hide in the grass. Players can hide in the grass. Landmines can hide in the grass. And bear traps can hide in the grass. Oh, and trip grenades. For all of you that like that sort of thing. Isn't there a little military up here? We're going to have a little look and see if they've done anything with that as part of this update. Be nice to see if they have or not. Yeah, no, I've mentioned it a few times on stream, but it's not going to happen. I did put an announcement out at one point. Let's use up from 556. Need that rucksack to see if it's got the new mechanics on it. Smoke is great for Zeds. We'll have a better look once we're clear of this area. Yeah, that was the original plan. But that plan stopped when I worked out how many people had never joined the Discord. So, you're now getting a tool attachment point, a strap, and another strap. So you can't fit weapons to them. But we can fit an axe to the back of it now. So that's really nice. That's awesome. That'll increase. That's a bit. I like that. Oh, do you want another hint about next wipe that's going to annoy? Well, it might annoy you. It might not. You might find it amusing. You never know. Ready for another hint? Or another mechanic that I'm bringing in? Hi, Restless. No, I'm liking it for the rucksack. Yeah, rifle slings we're getting. But you'll be able to craft them. You will be able to craft rifle slings. But you won't be able to wear... You won't be able to carry a rifle up here unless it's got a rifle sling on it. So until you have made... combat underwear. Yeah, if only. Camouflage condoms. Yeah. So unless you construct a sling, you'll have to carry your weapon in your hand. That sounded dodgy, didn't it? Hello, miss. Okay, so even that bag has the attachment slot. So yeah, we're going to rifle slings to make it a bit more realistic and to make people think a bit more about the weapons they're carrying on their shoulder. Because obviously I like that. It's realistic. And the rifle slings will work with the mod that I'm putting on and all vanilla weapons as well. And as I said, you will be able to make them yourself. And it won't be too difficult to make them, if that makes sense. It'll be like rope plus something makes you a rifle sling sort of thing. So it won't be hard to make them. But you'll still need to think, am I going to go fishing or am I going to carry a rifle on my back? You are getting a new rucksack next wipe, or 5 new rucksacks. But they're not going to be massive. But they're going to be tactical. They're going to be military rucksacks. And they will spawn probably tier 3 upwards. Because I'm not too evil. We're staying with the map mod that you all know and love. And we're staying with easy flag. We're staying with expansion building. I did think about base building plus. But I think for what I do with you guys, expansion works fine. But as I said, you're getting vanilla as well. So you can build vanilla walls, gates, and watchtowers if you wish to. And you can then stick barbed wire on it, cam nets, make them tier 2 with metal. And we'll make the vanilla gate take 2 explosives probably to blow up. Bergens. Yes, Bergens. But because they're not an issue Bergen, they're a fucking some strange American thing. A rucksack will do. Oh, there's a choo-choo train. Go and see the choo-choo train. See if they've got anything weird in 127 for train spawns. I see is that zombie there looking at me, all annoying. Hello, yes you, hello. Peter, multivits, metal. Pretty standard stuff so far. Water bottle. Mystic vest, that's nice. Shemag? Never say no to a shemag. That a ruined sewing kit as a spawn. Proper fishing rod. That we're not going to say no to. You also might have, depending on how generous I feel, some new vegetables to grow. I found potato seeds in the files that will allow you to grow potatoes. So potentially potato seeds, because I'll be because obviously if fishing's now nerfed, which we know it is from what we did earlier, then we're going to have to give you another way of making food. So growing vegetables is quite a good way. We'll increase the amount of animals that spawn for sure. Animals you can eat. I'm not going to be horrible to increase the amount of bears and wolves too much. But we'll increase deer and cow, pig, sheep, goat spawns. We'll have some interesting recipes for you. Yeah, I wish they don't do carrots, do they? I'd have to. Yeah, I've never understood why. And yeah, a nice bit of red venison, slow cooked with a good red wine sauce with all your normal stew items in. Nothing quite like it. I do like a good bit of venison, as long as it's slow cooked. Can't do venison steaks. Don't enjoy them. I might do something with the unknown food can. What we might do is have like unknown food can that if you add a lump of meat to it, it turns into something edible. If that makes sense. It's without the risk. The shame we can't do it like cooked venison. It has to be an item in game already. So I don't have the skills to write it myself. It's the only way to cook venison. No, it's not. I've had venison sausages and I've had venison steak and I don't really enjoy them. But slow cooked red deer is fucking soup. It's just amazing. And I get venison for nothing. So when I want to do a venison stew, I go and speak to one of my farmer friends and say, can I have some venison, please? And mysteriously, some venison turns up for me. But yeah, venison stew, 24 hours cooking in a slow cooker is just out of this world. And you can't muck it up. And that's what I love about it, because I'm not a chef. I know that. We all know that. So I need ways of cooking that I can't go wrong with. So, slow cooker, throw it in, forget about it. Perfect for me. Not heard any foxes on here yet, or rabbits on this experimental build. I wonder if they've turned them off for Chinaris. They'll be coming back on my wipe, for sure. I like having foxes and rabbits around. Should be a chicken spawn over there, and we do need food. We could fish. I do want to talk about one of the locations that you guys can build in that no one ever thinks of doing. So we might visit that first. We'll have a quick check in here for some food. I've been... You'll probably tell me off for this, John, but I've been craving KFC all week. So I think tomorrow night will be a KFC night. Normally I have fish and chips on a Friday, but I've just been craving greasy chicken and gravy. So I do like KFC, but it's not as good as it used to be, but I like the gravy. At least that one's not dead anymore. Fill that up. Yeah, I've just spent the whole week just going, I want KFC. So there was an incident at work yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, Wednesday. The boss brought in like 2 big bags of Christmas sweets and stuck them into the biscuit jar. And by the time he got back from a meeting, they'd mysteriously disappeared. And I was told in no uncertain terms they needed replacing this morning. So I had to take in sweets this morning to replace them all. I don't know who ate them. I think there's a goblin that lives at work that likes eating chocolate sweets. So we're going to go and have a look at, if you're new to DayZ or you haven't ever built down here, a really covert place to build. Obviously, if you've been around for a while and played a lot of DayZ over the years, you'll probably know it anyway, so this won't be anything new to you. Really come down here very often on, because I'm never in this part of Cherno. It's too freshy land for me. I loved it when they turned those back on so you could get up those, because for a long time you couldn't, could you? And then they made it so you could get up them. Get the right. That was always good. That was it was a nice little change just by adding that little bit in. The first place that potentially you could build a base. There are no helicopters on my server, so this can work really, really well. Flag in there, People never look up this high. Block off some of the entrances. Live in others. Certainly got a commanding view to shoot people. And access to an awful lot of resources. And if people are looting that military camp and you've got a scope, you can deal with them. So it can work really well. You've also got the shed on top there that works quite well. So, welcome back, John. We're just looking at one of the first locations that can work really well for a base, for a solo. A lot of carrying to get wood up, but easy to block yourself in up here. Stick your flag in here. Block that off. Nice solo base. Good commanding view. The downside is a getting up and getting down business. But done right, you can block off a big block of this. So that's the first thing. Not my favourite spot for a solo. Going to have a look at my favourite spot. So we're going to cut our hands on this. We know that. Come on. Let me off. How about that for a base location? The trouble is it's too far down south for Cookie and I to live. But stick a flag in here, it will never be seen. One door behind there. With a barrel you can light a fire in here. It's so, not OP, but so useful for a hidden base. And there's two of them. There's another one we can go to in a second. And cut again. And cut again, you bastard game. I'll be right back, guys. I'm just going to take a quick comfort break. And I'm back. Thank you for waiting. So what we're going to do is just go and have a look at the military here. See if there's any military rucksacks. See if the attachment points are on them. Which I'm guessing they will be, but you never know with BI, do you? You never know what they're going to do with an update. Certainly fishing's been nerfed. Yo, Goblin. Hi, Ace. So let's go and have a look at what they're doing in here with 1.27. How's our footwear? Repairable. You repair downs, and it keeps repairing until it's fixed now, rather than just go up a grade at a time. Or the things run out. You're going to have to remember that it will keep using it. Now I've wasted. That's DayZ for you, isn't it? You repair something that the game spawns you in, something that doesn't need repairing. Oh, John, what you were looking for earlier that you asked me, that cam net might prove useful. Look for one of those cam nets. So the music's built into DayZ. Because we're playing experimental, I've got it turned on. Because I'm just showing off 1.27 that dropped today into experimental. We're just having a look at what's coming on the next update to DayZ. So the building that we just climbed up, there's another one here that you can get inside and on the roof of. So the music was put into DayZ, I think, to make it a bit more atmospheric. I always have it turned off on main because I play Aftermath and that music would get you killed. Found the crate pick is on Discord. Okay. Yes, and I think it's triggered because you're moving into military. The trigger is there that as you move to military, that music triggers. And that's sort of what they've done, isn't it? They've, in areas where you're more likely to get killed, they've changed the music. Now, I know there's no other players on here because I'm running experimental on a LAN. Because I just wanted to have a run around and have a look and see what they changed in the mechanics, not shoot people like this evening. Yeah, that might happen as well, John. There are other keys out there, obviously, that I might have put around. That'll all have a description telling you where to go. What to do. So we need to fish again, I'm guessing, guys. That'll be the next thing. Let's sort out our loot a little bit. Certainly fishing is our next major issue, I think. We've got the stuff to do it. So one of the things that's coming in, Restless, is this So there's your normal little rucksack. You can now attach a tool to it. And I like that. I think that's quite nice. It's not, obviously they nerfed how much you could carry, but that's a good upgrade to unnerf it a little bit. And realistic, I know it's not, it's just fitting on the outside. It'd be better if it was strapped on there, but it's all right. Yeah, I like that. And you can't fit a weapon to it, so that doesn't hurt it. Just gives people a little bit extra. Guys, are you aware, and anyone new to DayZ probably isn't, that if you bury, like when you bury stashes, if you bury them in a grave plot, it doesn't change the colour of the ground. So long as you remember which grave it is, no one will know it's there. Day's hint. So we'll get past this town and then we'll get some fishing done, because we know the chicken's not worth eating. If I can get... See, I quite like that as a mod. I quite like that. And I know how to do it, but I need to be able to get the mod working for the recipes before I even try anything else with a mod, if that makes sense, John. Once I can get the mods working for the recipes, then we can start on other stuff. Yes. So, it's not stupidly difficult to... Oh, chop tree, buried stash in its location after the wipe. Yeah, the tree grows back, stash is hidden. Yeah. Yes, and that, after wipe, you have to wait a bloody long time to get access to a stash that wasn't there. But yeah, we know what you meant. That works just as well. Probably better, because you can choose any location. So, yeah, what was I saying? After I've got the mod working for the recipes, and I know that that works, then I will start looking at other things that we can mod into the game. So to change storage is not stupidly difficult. It's literally a case of going in and building an override that says this item, rather than have one weapon slot, has 2 weapon slots. I don't know whether we could do it so you put the belt on and then it adds it. In that, I'd have to build a second rucksack that had it on, that then it became, and I don't know how I would do that. But that's not to say that we couldn't add extra slots to vanilla items as our own override. But maybe make it so... Maybe not weapon slots, but have 2 tool slots on these rucksacks. Yeah? Something like that, maybe? But I can also do things like recolor or put graphics on a sea chest and have it only hold medical items. So we could make a sea chest have a red cross on it and it will only hold medical items, and then suddenly we've got a medical container that's exclusive to GoblinZ. But it's not the priority. But long term that could be done. But I'm not. So let's start off small and get the recipes working. Once we can get the recipes working, if I can, because every time I've tried to write a mod in the past, it's failed. But if I can get recipes working, then I will then start looking at other things without going in too much depth that will muddle me, and start building up some other stuff that's exclusive to our servers that only we can run, or offer it to the community but no real use to anyone else, if that makes sense. know you're hungry, Mr. Goblin. Don't worry. Dinner time is coming. You're gonna have some lovely fishies. Well, actually, on here now, you're more likely to get a pair of Wellington boots and a cooking pot. Yes! That's what I was thinking. I'm glad you understand my brain on that one. You know, a goblin with a broken arm in a sling. That would be your first aid one. A goblin with a shotgun where he dropped the ammo on the floor. That would be your ammunition one. A goblin holding a broken rifle, looking oddly at it. That would be your weapon storage box. But also we can increase the amount of slots. So you could take a sea chest. You could make it look different using a different model. Not difficult. You could give it 400 slots. Not difficult. And you could turn it into only hold weapons. Not difficult. I know the theory of it. The difficulty is me getting the mod to work. But it's not a priority initially. It's a fair way of putting it. My priority is getting the recipes working first, because that saves us 3 mods on the server, and we can just choose the recipes we want, or I want. What we're going for? What's the betting on what we'll catch? How do you unload a gun? You are dropping from inventory. I'll show on PC. I'll show you. Give me a second. So say I wanted to drop the Pioneer, and it's got a round inside it. I just double click R for reload. Just double tap R on the keyboard, and it will unload it. And now the ammunition's back in there. All right. Nobody wants to leave ammunition for other people. Didn't want that one anymore anyway. Perfect. I love this. Little things that please goblins. It's a simple thing, but it's just realistic. A bit more realistic. Overpower the item in the game. I'll explain why once these are cooked. So, if you purify that and use it as a bandage, it will be used quicker than a bandage will to make you better. We haven't had a can of drink out of any of these, have we? We haven't overly been searching either, so... all the weapons I'd never normally take. Hello, Mr. Chicken. You get to live today. So yeah, basically this weekend I'm working on the mod for the recipes. Hopefully I can get that working. In which case, then I just need to do the loot table, get that ready. The rest of the mods and data is ready to go for the next wipe. Just the loot table needs to be adjusted based upon how I'm going to run the wipe and some of the added stuff we're adding in. But as I said, I think it will be a the server will be wiped on a Friday at 12 and it will be up by 6 o'clock ready to go for you guys. Luckily, with experimental out now, over the next couple of days or the next week, I will test all the mods we're going to use on the next wipe on experimental to make sure they don't break it. So as long as they don't break experimental 1.27, they should, said very loosely because this is BI we're talking about, work fine on real 1.27. Do you guys know about the unlockable door at Green Mountain? So the tower at Green Mountain, if you pop into that tower and use a lockpick to lock the door at the bottom, unless people have a lockpick, they can't even, you know, you can normally break down a door that's been lockpicked. You can't break that door down. Oh, we need to, the other thing, we might need to go to VMC. If we can get there. You know the little pillboxes you get a lot on Livonia, but they're now on VMC as well. They have sliding doors now that can have code locks put on them, or combination locks in vanilla, and sliding shutters on the windows, so you can turn them into mini bases. So you will be able to, on Goblin server, once we get 1.27, take over a pillbox and build your base around it if you want to. And you might find next wipe there's a few more pillboxes around if that's the case, because you could make that your secure room in your base. Or you could start your base from there, just needing a code lock to start yourself off. Flag, code lock, and then build out around it. I think that would be quite a nice way of doing things. I just don't know how it will work with explosives to blow the door, if that makes sense, because that might cause a problem. In which case we'll have to find another way of being able to take code locks off those, because it ain't a normal door. But I'm sure the modders will work it out. And I don't know whether expansion code locks will fit them or not. But if they won't, then I'll leave in vanilla horrible code locks. I'll just make sure that you can hacksaw them off. But it would make a nice addition to your bases. Time for a hat change. Because then our spare hook we can stick into the hat. No point going into Balotto, we know what's there. I'm more interested in going down to the bottom corner and then potentially pushing for VMC to see if the new mechanic's in. So VMC is that way, isn't it, basically? So it's dodge these Zs and push for VMC. We might have to do some interesting dodging of zombies en route. This is where I made my first ever kill on a PvP server. Was in here. I followed somebody in here and I had a 74. Yeah, my first ever PvP kill. Awesome. Yeah, music exchange is a trigger point for military, isn't it? I mean, ultimately, I'd like to do a lot more modding, but let's get one working first and work out from there. I'm never going to be an animations, making weapons type of person. That's not my way of thinking. And I think other people do it very well. Will use their mods for it. But I like your tactical belt on rucksacks. That makes sense. Though I'd probably do something different. I would probably say that the burlet straps that you use for making ghillie suits, if you could like merge them with a rucksack and turn it into molly straps on the rucksack, that then would allow you to attach something to the molly straps. I'd quite like that. Maybe it would allow you to attach one of the army medical pouches, or one of those little pouches that you wear on your back, the army pouch or the medical pouch, and that could then attach to any rucksack, giving you the ability of giving you more storage. That I'd quite like. Because you'd have to find a burlet sack first, cut it up, attach that to the rucksack, and then attach the other sack to that rucksack. Which would feel quite, not real, but it would feel, at least for me, a little bit more, it would make sense. And there'd be a few steps to go through to get to that point. Obviously, I would love to be able to mod the cows to react like bears. We know that, I've always said it. I'd love to be able to mod the flag so it wasn't 20 feet high. I'd love to be able to do a flag that was just a stick stuck in the ground that had the flag on it. Because that would be perfect. Because that way you'd have a proper covert base still with the flag. But as just an override, once I can work out how to get the mod working, I can make an override on a flag without too much difficulty. It is literally saying, rather than this, do this. And a new model. So I might have to buy a 3D model of a small flag. But it could be done. Yeah, that's the plot pole is part of a £180 paid only mod. Though you, but you could, I could do my own version of it if that makes sense. It just wouldn't be a. For me, I don't think I'd have people paying into it. I'd have a flag that needed to be raised because we do more survival-y things than we do full-on PvP things. But it would be nice if it was like that high there, and that was a complete flag, because then you could build a covert base. And that I like the idea of. I'm a much more a fan of a covert base for you guys, for all of us. And I understand the principles of it all. The problem I've always had is whenever I've tried to publish them to Steam, I haven't been able to get them to work when you download them. And that's the problem I've always had. So, but I'm going to attempt it. It will be Saturday that I attempt my first one. Just not so many. So for me it would be, you need to find a flag, or a rag, something to attach to it. It would be a small stick, and you'd need maybe 3 large stones at the bottom of it rather than 32. Just enough, and then the flag would still drop, so you'd have to keep the flag raised. But it would allow you to hide it inside a house. It would be perfect. It just would be enough to. It wouldn't be a ball ache making a base. And I think it's one of those mods that a lot of servers would probably, the more survivally servers, would probably might download and use. Because I'd make it public, something like that, if I got it working. Because you'd want to offer that to the community, wouldn't you? I would, anyway. But I need to, as I said, recipes first. Then the bull. I want a charging bull. Then the flag. And it could be a workbench. We could do it with a workbench. We could turn it into some sort of workbench where, rather than a flag, you have a workbench that holds some tools on it. And that has something on it that needs to be raised or reset to keep the base alive. Because it is an override in changing the model and the recipe that it needs, basically. So it could be like 5 metal and something else makes a workbench. And that workbench is what your flag is. Certainly the flag needs changing, in my humble opinion. Oh, gas going in. So guys, next wipe of GoblinZ, you will get gas on towns going in. So when you choose to find somewhere to live, take that in consideration. Areas will get gassed. But that also will have a positive thing, because I'm going to have certain items only spawn in gas zones. So it would be in your interest to get an NBC suit and use them. That's what John, great minds think alike. That's what I always had intended to do, was take the mechanic from the bear and add it to just the bull, not the cows, just the bull. And then with my override that we use now, where when there's gunfire it runs towards it, when you shoot a cow in a field, the bull would then charge you down. And I think that would be the perfect combination. Going up the hill. Thankyou plants. Have they put them back in? I've never seen that plant on vanilla, I don't think. Are they stinging nettles? I wonder if we're about to get stinging nettles that sting you. Or potentially nettle soup. Or dye from nettles. Who knows? I need to look at the files on. I need to load the experimental build into DayZ editor and have a look at whether that's a plant, different plant. Yes, John, I agree, but that's still in the files. It's just turned off due to the Australian marketplace. So DayZ always had cannabis. But the Australian government would not allow DayZ to be sold in Australia if cannabis growing and smoking of it was allowed in the game. So it was turned off. So I wonder whether they are... I've never seen nettles before in the game. So I wonder whether we're about to get nettle stuff happening. Which could be amazing. Because it'd be a new thing to harvest. I mean, I couldn't pick those or do anything with that. But that doesn't mean it's not coming. Time to have a look at the files. Not now. After the stream, I'll go into the files and have a look at see if I can see anything weird and wonderful in the experimental files, like a new food type. Wouldn't surprise me because I know that they want to take this in a more survival direction, and actually having players cook up nettle soup would be awesome. So the cannabis stuff is still in DayZ, it's still in the files. I could spawn it onto a server. You could still grow it. You just can't do anything with it. But it is still there. And because we're not having traders, there's no point. But that, to me, felt like a new plant. Anyone in chat, have you guys ever seen nettle plants before in DayZ? And John, I thought it was cannabis plants initially done badly, which is why I was like, have they put them back in? That's a risk because of like the Australia situation. But when you get up close, they're not. They look like badly rendered nettle plants. Makes you think though. I wonder what they're up to. So we're hoping to get to VMC without a map. Basically, as long as I can find the airfield, we should be able to find VMC. See if we can find one of those little pillboxes and see if it has a new door. Okay, so it's not just me that's like, that's a new plant. Yeah, I need to look at the files off stream, obviously, and see whether there's any reference to nettles that I can find. It feels like they've added something new, which would be awesome. I would love them to put in a new food cellar. But you know me, I'd like the nettles to sting you. Yeah. It just doesn't, it's not rendered very well. The sort of direction. Let's run for a little bit so we can see something I know. Yeah, we're getting more ambient sounds now of breaking sticks as you're running. And crunchy leaves. But you and I know, Bimmy, that means nothing with BI, does it? It's like they bring out 1.2 whatever and it's like, here's everything we've included and all the things we forgot to tell you about. I know where we are. On Aftermath, I die here a lot. I love the ambient stuff they're starting to build into the game now. I love how they're making it more... It feels more real. We're going to have a look at the Green Mountain OP, and I'll explain what I mean. See if it still works, actually, because we've got a lockpick so we can test it. Aftermath's hard work. It's good fun, John. Don't get me wrong. It is good fun, but it's hard work. It's doable. But like this morning, I was on a server this morning before I went to work, and I did a raid on an abandoned base and extracted under fire and just made it home with the stuff that I took from the abandoned base. And there was only at the time like 16 people on the server, but as soon as abandoned bases came up, they flocked to all the locations. You know, you've seen what happens when Cookie and I are on and we're under fire all the time. And Cookie's brilliant at PvP. I'm not. Chuckles and I are like praying that Cookie will kill them for us. Yeah. It is good fun. It's just, you have to embrace the PvP life. But they are it is good, it is intense. I think of all the servers I've found out there, it's the one that I enjoy the most. Don't get me wrong, I love what I do with GoblinZ, or GoblinZ, but for pure playing, I really enjoy the Aftermath experience. Thank you. I'll go with that. Though arguably he's cleverer than I am in the real world. Aftermath do servers right. They're just very busy, as you've seen. You know, you'll have 100 people on the server. I mean, I expect at the moment the server will be full. Well, it will be. And there'll be like 40 in the queue. I now pay for VIP access on Aftermath. Because before I paid for VIP access, I could be stuck in the queue for 3 hours and never get on. It is doable as a solo. You just have to be very, very, very covert. A lot of that sharpening stone, it's not gone down very much. I think they've changed how much sharpening stone is used up. On Aftermath, this is where weed deals go down as events, and you can get a free helicopter if you win the event. Nobody really does solo servers. So I do, and there's a couple of others out there that advertise them as solo, but most people want to play in a team. So your 3-man is sort of your best option, but it's the most popular. So then I would say the 12-man, because you don't get very many 12-man teams running around. So you'll probably stay the most covert in the 12-man. The fact that that's black, and then you look at it there and it's not. It's like, come on, BI, get the model right. So, basically, if you lock this closed, that, don't ask me now, that didn't, you can only open it with a lockpick. I don't think they've ever changed the model, so even if you bash it, it won't unlock. But your only hope of getting out if you're lockpicked in and you don't have a lockpick is wait for a restart or jump to your death. D4, no, because it's just never been made to work that way, and they've never unnerfed it, basically. But this is a gas zone, so you probably wouldn't want to live here. Quite like the music. I wouldn't run it all the time, obviously. Aftermath, it would not be a sensible thing to run. But it is quite nice, just for running experimental. Offset VMC. Now is when we'll bump into a bear. Puppies. What luck I have with fucking finding fucking puppies. I run it on your server, Goblin, as you don't have in-game chat. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, in-game chat's turned off on purpose. Solo server. No reason to chat to other people. And it eliminates any toxicity. Having people go effing and blinding or using racist slurs in chat. And then people have to open up. Yes, I do. And then people have to open up tickets to complain, and I have to work out who it was, and I need proof, and I need to ban people. Just get rid of chat. Chat's gone. If you type it, if you press enter on my server and type a message, I can see it. And I can reply to you if I'm on the back end of the server. So anything that's typed in chat, I can see. And sometimes I get help, help, help. And then when the player's next on, I'll be like, it's admin here. You'll need to open a ticket in the Discord, press pause and join the Discord. And then they'll come across. But I have to be monitoring it to see that. My base, guys. So on other news, I bought two things last weekend. One that I'm really, really impressed with. I haven't had a stereo in years. I've got a really good internet system, but I just don't have the space where I live to really set it up properly. So I bought myself a digital stereo CD player, but digital radio. And I'm really happy with her. It's really nice to have music again, especially when I'm doing non-streaming stuff on in the background. Really happy to have that. But I also decided that my mobile phone is on its way out. Well, the camera's died in it. And the phone's fine. I don't really use a mobile apart from for work. There's no point replacing it. It does what it has to do. But I need a camera. So I went out and stupidly invested in a cheap Argos camera, digital camera, and it was dire. Just did not do what I needed it to do, was not happy with it. Mentioned it to somebody at work, and they sold me a like 14 point something megapixel Sony. So I've got a little Sony Cybershot here that's currently charging. So I'm really impressed with it. So I'll do some better photos of my PC setup in the next few days. That's a fair point. It is fire making time. Thank you for the reminder. Should we do it after we've been in here? Yeah, I would have died, so I forget about it. We want to get to VMC. It is important. Back post now. Not being able to press M is a issue at times, isn't it? I'm going to food as well. Oh, here we go. If we push this way, next time we find a river pond, we'll fish for a horrible river fish. We'll get cooked up with the heat and we'll have something to eat. And I know we'd like triple carrying, but it isn't the SS. It's a nice little gap. We'll throw it away when we're out of ammo. Find a house and just put a fire because quite often cold. I love these ambient sounds in the woods. It's so annoying on a server. That would make it such a nice little solo base location. Okay, sorry, I'll stand up. Oh, it is. It's moved. Thank you, John. Is that better? There you go. Yeah, we need to have a little play around with that now. Move the location it's clipped to, because my PC's quieter. Now I've got these multiple fans in, keeping it cool all the time. And they're expensive fans. So the problem is it's an expensive boom arm, and it doesn't really, the table I've got doesn't do it justice. So it's set at an angle, so it keeps moving off to an angle. But thank you, John. I forget about little things like that. I used to have my mic coming from the side, but I have it above the monitor facing down at me. So I'm speaking up into the mic. If we've got no food with us, we either need to find something to shoot, or we need to find a river. I realise we really need a fire because we're starting to sneeze, which means we know what's coming. Right, I'm out. Catch you the side, peeps. Thanks for being here, Bimmy. Massively appreciated. Yeah, it's quite a long stream for me. We're coming up to like 3 hours 20. I normally do my long stream on Fridays. I'm not going to be up to midnight, I know that. It'll be about another half an hour, 3/4 of an hour at the very most. Because I've got to be in work at early o'clock tomorrow morning still. I want to have a little look at... I had an update on Manor Lords. Obviously I don't stream Manor Lords, but it's a game that I play a fair amount of. And there's been an update to putting rivers and new maps in. I'd like to have a little run around on that for 20 minutes tonight and just see what the maps feel like. But the village over there, I think, or town. Let's push for that and get a fire on. And then maybe we'll come on experimental next time with some mods on, so I can fly around the map a bit. And we can test some of the stuff for GoblinZ's next wipe without giving too much away, if that makes sense. Some of the stuff that you know about. I'm not going to put the sea chests on here, the crates on here and things, because you know how they work. And they're just going to work. But it would be nice if I can get the recipe mod working, we could load it on here initially, and we could then practice all the recipes here on stream, so you can see if they work or not, because that would be a nice way of doing it. And then put in God mode for myself so I can spawn those items in. Push for the church, that area. See it in the distance, so once we hit the housing there, we'll get a fire on. Oh, we fought off that cold. That multi-bit worked. Perfect. So Ryan, you also play Mana Lords. I love the game. I'm so addicted to Mana Lords. Really enjoy it. I love building in there. I don't have the troops turned on. I just play it in peaceful mode. But I can get lost for hours in that game. Haha. Oh, we were going to have food, weren't we? But I hear a... And we know how shit river fish are in DayZ. Got hit with a 7.62. There we are. Is it here, or did it keep going? I thought I tapped it at the end. I thought it went down. Wasn't that far in, was it? There it is. Nice bit of venison. I'm the same. It's a beauty for one person to have written that game is immense. Just at the right time. Right, we'll have a fire out here and cook it. I think. If we get a lone house without any Z trouble, greenhouse will do. I used to play Company of Heroes 1 continuously to relax. That was my go-to relaxy game. Now it's Mana Lords. I like having games that I play that I don't stream. Though I might make a video of Mana Lords for something. Yes. So you actually go and see what you've done. yeah, I love the mechanics of it. It's such a clever little game. And a labour of love, but made him some serious money. Now it's eventually released. Right, that needs to go on the floor, because we need to go get some sticks. And it doesn't really matter, because we know it's just us on here. I know I'm bleeding, Mr. Goblin. I know I'm bleeding. Wish I wasn't. It would make life easier. Fucking damn. Luckily, we've got emergency firelighter. Goblin. There's a 10 round mag for this game in the files. For this gun. Of all things. I just wouldn't put it in it, make it too OP. That's 380 as well, isn't it? That's shit. Let's get to that. Don't need that. We don't need that. Dead Space. Never played Dead Space. The other game that one dev that's worth a look if you're into PvE or survival is Subsistence. But I can always do a Subsistence stream at some point and show off the game. Another solo developer that built an amazing grindy survival game. And you can play it with other people, but it doesn't really work so well. Go through this town, don't we, I think? Really, we're finding a med centre to get another bandage. That's going to be our next issue, is patching ourselves up if we get scratched. But there's Krona. So, airfield is that way? Yeah. You'd go to towards the airfield to hit VMC Hill, and then to the back of VMC to find one of the little pillboxes to see if they put it in. Dead Space 1 2 worth playing. Dead Space 3 avoid at all costs. Ah. Oh yeah, the loot boxes on EA. I've given up playing EA games. I just don't. Yeah. Some games I don't mind paying money to play. I play Aftermath £14 a month just to be able to jump the queue. Other games, I just want the game to be the game. Medieval Dynasty is amazing. Oh, I've got Medieval. An amazing game. I haven't played it since they did the co-op and the updates. I played it when it first came out. It was one of the first games I streamed when I started streaming survival games. But yeah, Medieval. Amazing game. So well written. But their other Dynasty games, how dire were they? You can tell I'm safe on here, can't you? Is it? Is it worth a go? Is it worth me installing it and giving it a go? Okay. What I used to refer to it as? Oh, medieval flirting. Hello. I haven't seen you before. As you try and find a wife in game. But yeah, it's a brilliant game. And I'm massively, massively, massively looking forward to Atomfall. Really looking forward to playing Atomfall. When that drops in March. But that will be done. I'll make a series for YouTube on that. A British Fallout mixed with Stalker single player has to be done as a stream. Has to be make content in that. 100%. We run up this way. That was Krona, so I reckon we want to be hitting about there. And it should be, because that's how I'm spawning it in. Yeah, I'm not overriding the crate loot. There are times and places to have better quality loot on the map. Yeah. I don't put a lot in crates until you get to the final 3 crates. So it's about giving people slightly better gear for working for it. It's a reward. I'm making players, as you understand, guys, I'm making you move around the map. I'm giving you a better chance of bumping into other players or getting killed. That's what I'm... It sounds horrible, but that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to make players bump into other players, from my perspective, with a chance of PvP and recycling. That's what I'm doing it for. In 2 weeks' time, BI are giving the yearly update brief, so we should know sort of rough details of when, like 1.28, 1.29, and maybe 2.0 drop. So we'll have some sort of idea of when wipes would need to be ish. Because there's normally, and the next update is normally July time, and then we get the big one October, November. I love that. That's what I wanted, though. It sounds horrible, but I play Aftermath, where most of the stuff you pick up is pristine, or you can repair it reasonably easily, or you can even repair ruined weapons back to pristine. But I love my server where everything is like so badly damaged that you might get 2 shots out of it before it breaks. It's just a different mechanic to play with. And feels to me more real. You know, the whole 12 years after the end of the world. I put all the sawn-offs in. I love the sawn-offs and having them spawn. Because with a sawn-off, you can single load the sawn-off. Sawn-off F for Maz with 5.56 single loaded if you don't have a mag is a nice little weapon for hunting. One day, maybe. Changing the wild boar into being aggressive would be nice. But cow first. See, I've done that goblin thing of running in the wrong direction, haven't I? We're heading back towards the edge of the map that way, yeah. So it's about this direction. Ellie? Oh, we are in heli territory, I suppose. I'm quite looking forward to doing this wipe without trader, though, because it's gonna... Everything you find, you'll want to keep, because you never know when you'll find it again. And it might force players to think, do I shoot my gun now or not a bit more? Olive Drab AK. Yeah, I love the multicoloured weapons. Aren't they amazing? The ones that you can't normally get without spray tan, but just spawn them in the world. It makes more sense. And then I don't have to spawn in spray cans. There used to be a spray can grenade in DayZ in the early days. You could build it into an improvised grenade that would blow up. Before my time playing the game. Long before my time. I'm loving these sounds as we walk around. That's going to so unnerve players on PvP servers. Because you're always going to think you're being followed. So that is that farm. Yes, where Black Market is. Okay. Be about another 15 minutes, guys, and I'll probably bin it. I might actually do it now. We might just we'll forget VMC for tonight. We'll wait till we've got the mods on and try it. When I saw I had to pick it up because of the colour, actually left better loot just because I wanted it. Yes, because you don't normally see them. I get that. I do the same. And I like the multicoloured, well, not multicoloured, I like the black and green ones that you're not used to having. What would be nice is if they did, rather than spray painting the whole gun a different colour, if it like spray painted it in stripes so it became like camouflage. That would be really nice. You know, a can of a can of black spray and green spray, and you actually camouflage the weapons. That would be a better, in my opinion. Would feel it, yeah. And then some white duct tape for Sakal, so you could put white duct tape on your weapons to camouflage them for Sakal. Not just Gilly. Right, guys, I'm going to call it here. It's 10 o'clock at night. I have been streaming now for 3 hours 45. I will be on tomorrow night with Dr. Cookie Monster. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for the sub earlier. Thanks for the interaction. Thanks for keeping me company. And I will see you all again soon. Remember, if you've got a goblin in your sights, miss.